Hello, everybody. Welcome to StraightA. Dawson here.
And I'm the only other one here. It's Brayden.
Yes, as you see, there's only two of us here today. But we're here today with your Super Bowl 58 predictions. Script is leaked. One of us is right. We don't know which is yet, but one of our scripts is completely right. The script writers gave us a bunch of papers and said one of these is right. We don't know which one, and left. Just came to our house and left.
How fitting. Our picks are different too.
Yeah, I know. Funny enough. So I mean, they really just lining it up for us. Before we get started,
One of us will predict the Super Bowl winner.
This is facts. And if you didn't know, both of us have our division rivals in the Super Bowl. So obviously we were both cheering on opposite teams, not because we like the other team, but just because we don't like the other team more.
No, I like the Chiefs though.
Shut up. No one listens.
What do you want me to say?
That you hate the Chiefs and that you're only cheering for them because the 49ers suck more to you.
No.
Okay, well, either way. Before we get started, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And comment down below your Super Bowl predictions. Put a final score down if you want to, too. If someone gets it right, I'll give you a cookie. I don't know. Maybe. If you did not know, this is funny enough. I think this is our first video on the channel with just me and Brayden. Brayden and I are roommates, so I can literally yell at him like, "Fuck you!" from across here, and he can hear it.
That's not very nice.
No, it's not very nice, but we're not very nice to each other. No, that's false. We love each other. Just tough love. Either way, we're going to get into this, and we're just going to kind of write our own narrative about the Super Bowl, about what final score will be, what things do we expect to happen, and et cetera, and who our winner's going to be. And we can kind of talk about it a little bit, debate about it. But Brayden, you want to take us away on this one?
Yeah, I can. So we have the Chiefs versus 49ers again. Not really looking forward to this one. I think it should be a fun game, though. I will say before I get into my predictions, so for the last 4 Super Bowls, okay, for the first 2, the home team has lost. The 2 before that, the home team won. The 2 before that, the home team lost. Well, 3 before that, but the pattern started somewhere in there. So, you know who the home team is for
the Kansas City Chiefs?
This Super Bowl is the Kansas City Chiefs, which doesn't look good for me, but either way, I have the Kansas City Chiefs taking this down because Brock Purdy is going to go down in quarter 1.
Whoa.
That's the script. I hate to wish injury on somebody, but that's the script. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. He's not going to go down. But, yeah, Kansas City's going to win by a score of 27-17.
27-17? It's a pretty roughly good score there. Obviously, you heard him picking the Chiefs here. I'm going the opposite route and I'm picking the Niners. For one, the spread on this game is the spread for this game is negative 2.5 for the 49ers, and the over/under is 47.5. I don't expect it to get to 47.5. They could be a good game. I just think both these defenses are very good, and I think both these offenses have had bad days. And so I think it's going to mostly go through the run game. I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to have a good day. I think CMC is going to have a good day. If I had to predict, George Kittle is probably going to be the leading receiver in this whole game. Just feels like a good pick here. Patrick Mahomes probably throw for slightly more, around 280. While Brock Purdy go like 250, 260. I expect Brock Purdy to have one big scramble, and Patrick Mahomes to dance like he always does and probably evade 11 million sacks. With that said, this is a tough one actually to kind of talk about because both these teams have had the lows of the season, but also have performed really well in the playoffs, and that's no surprise. Both these teams are very good on paper. It's just that they both have had rough points. I am obviously going to be cheering for the 49ers, being a Broncos fan here, but I do on paper think that outside of quarterback, they have an all better team. I would argue George Kittle at this point in his career is better than Travis Kelce. I'd argue the receiving core is miles above the Chiefs receiving core. The offensive line of the 49ers is pretty comparable to the Chiefs, but I think they are just slightly better. Defensive line, better. The secondary, you can maybe kind of argue that the Chiefs have a little slightly better one, but I'd still argue that the safeties are kind of help that 49ers team a lot. So I just think on every docket of the paper, the 49ers have this game won, and I think they will. I just think it's not going to be a very exciting type Super Bowl. I think it's just going to be gritty. It's going to be gritty. They're going to battle it. It's not going to be super high scoring like last year. It's not going to be kind of emotional like the Bengals Rams. I don't think it's going to be a blowout story with the Bucks Chiefs. I think it's just going to be. I think 27-17 is actually a decent score. I'd probably wager. I'm leaning more 24-17. I'm 21-17. 21-17 feels like a good one. I'll go 21-17 49ers. Again, it's just that both these teams are good and they're going to be facing off against good defenses. And I expect that what's going to mess them up is I think Patrick Mahomes will end up getting sacked a few times. I think it'll be 2 sacks. I think it's going to be 2 to 3 sacks, but I think it's going to be more leaning 2. He's not used to getting sacked, so that number sounds low, but he doesn't get sacked a whole lot. I mean, the O-line and him have just been really good about that. I do actually probably predict that Isaiah Pacheco will probably get more scrimmage yards than CMC, which may be a hot take. But I think the Chiefs' defensive line is actually going to be really good at stuffing CMC, and I think that they are smart enough to plan around him. But I think the real MVP will be like George Kittle in this game. I think George Kittle is going to play a pivotal point of both the blocking and kind of the long-range games. One thing that Brock Purdy gets really big flack on is that he's not a great passer. That he kind of just throws short passes to Brayden and I, or Debo, or even George Kittle. Meanwhile, if you look at most of his highlight plays with George Kittle, it's 50, 40 yards. Probably more accurately, 30 turns into 40 yards. 30 turns into 50 yards by George Kittle. I think everybody's going to play a big role, and I think the 49ers are going to take it. Any big disputes there that you've heard? Or
No, I don't think I can necessarily disagree with anything you say, but I will add on that I trust Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid heck of a lot more than I trust Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. Brock Purdy's done well. Haven't seen him in the Super Bowl, though.
No, that's true. It's true. And Kyle Shanahan is 0 for 2 in the Super Bowl, right?
Kyle Shanahan is a choker.
That is what worries me.
Yeah.
And obviously, I feel like in the NFL doesn't like the Mr. Irrelevant winning the Super Bowl narrative. I feel like they really want the Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift narrative there. So listen. I've never been one to say the Super Bowl's rigged, and I'm not going to say it today, especially no matter how this goes in the Super Bowl. Because obviously, if I didn't say it was rigged last year, after the Chiefs, won the Super Bowl off of a maybe shady call, I'm not really going to complain about that one too much. I thought that was okay, whatever. I think a lot of people could argue that, but whatever. If you relied on one penalty to lose the game, then you didn't deserve to win the game. That's how I've always played it. I don't expect any shenanigans from this one. I think either way, I think the NFL should like this because Mr. Irrelevant winning the Super Bowl is a pretty nice narrative, even though Kurt Warner's is better. And I'm saying that with a Rams fan, but that's not pandering. I think Kurt Warner's story.
He wasn't Mr. Irrelevant.
Well,
he was undrafted, though.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Like, his story was much better in similar vein, and Tom Brady being 6th overall. So literally, you're getting the middle ground with the 7th overall pick, I guess. But
he's also a better quarterback than Brock Purdy.
We've only seen 2 years of Brock Purdy. I think we can get in a whole conversation about whether Brock Purdy's good or not. I think Brock Purdy is just like a Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins type quarterback. I think he's going to. Go ahead.
Go ahead. He's certainly doing what he needs to do with that team.
That's for sure. And I think it's more. Honestly, I think a lot of people say they can place any quarterback in that system and they would do well. I honestly don't think so. I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that wouldn't do well in that system, or at least not succeed for a while. I think if you put Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff in there, I think Brock Purdy would do better than simple. You can obviously argue if you put Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen in there, they probably do better. Probably, I guess, just because they're really talented. But I think it's really hard to argue that Brock Purdy's not at least a good quarterback. And I think finally he's getting the respect that he deserves. Finally, I think that the stigma of him being Mr. Irrelevant is kind of fading off to where even if he has a bad season, he's already proven he's had pretty much 20 plus games of really good ball. So I know it's hard saying that with a division rival, which I really respect that you're able to give him credit where it's deserved. Just like I have to give Patrick Mahomes credit that he is literally probably the top 5 quarterbacks at this point, especially if he wins the Super Bowl. I've heard arguments with him being up there.
You said you meant all time. I thought you said in the NFL right now, and I'm just like, okay.
No, I mean all time. At this point, when we talk about Patrick Mahomes being top, it's pretty much of all time. I mean, what's called Tom Brady and Joe Montana easily still have the 1 and 2, but after that, it gets really shady. Peyton Manning's probably better than Peyton Manning. He's probably better than Eli. He's probably better than Dan Marino. He's probably better than. I did hear that if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, that people still kind of consider Peyton Manning a little bit better, which I think they're in that conversation together at that point. I think Peyton Manning and Patrick Mahomes are kind of on the same level, but if he wins another one, I think it's kind of solidified that he's number 3. Because Joe Montana has 4, and Tom Brady has 7. Imagine Brock Purdy gets 7.
Don't talk about Eli Manning. Playoff Eli was something special.
You know, honestly, that was a video idea I saw was playoff quarterbacks, ranking playoff quarterbacks specifically. And Eli Manning was actually like S tier. Like, and honestly, when you look back at his playoff runs, it's hard not to say that he was. It felt like he was either out or in. Like, if he was in, he was all the way in. Because I think his only playoff wins were those two Super Bowls.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's exactly how it went. If he won in the first round, he won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And he beat the Patriots both times. So I think it's funny, but as much as I hate Patrick Mahomes, he is a good quarterback, and he used to be less whiny until this season, and he's been really, really whiny lately.
Yeah, I don't know what's been going on there. That's a little bit suspicious.
What do you like about him being whiny this season?
Like, not suspicious, and like I think something's going on. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, you know, like every time before people would complain about Patrick Mahomes, I'd just be like, well, listen, I'm complaining that he's good. Like, I'm always going to admit that. But this season has been a little bit weirder, where he's just been, I guess it's just the season has not gone right for him, and they always have usually. I'm not going to judge the guy because it's only been a couple games, and arguably he had the right to be mad, but I feels like he was holding on to those a little too long. And even their off season, or even their bad season going to the Super Bowl. But it is what it is. I do think it'll be really cool to see a lot of the players outside of the quarterbacks win, too. I think seeing George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey especially, I think we kind of forget that he's so good, but he's only been on this team for 2 years, and he's never won a Super Bowl because he's been with Carolina Panthers before this. Seeing him get a ring would be really awesome. Chase Young, Bosa, seeing them get Chase Young doesn't have one, but Bosa does, right? No, he does not. No. What am I saying? I keep on writing the narrative that the 49ers won the Chiefs Super Bowl, but they definitely did not.
Trying to block that memory out of your mind.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, no, understandable. Then you look at the Chiefs, which they still have some young blood. I think getting Rashee Rice early into that. Travis Kelce, I like him enough to say that he deserves one more. Pacheco getting another one, especially having a good performance. Chris Jones, I like Chris Jones a lot. You know. Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney has his redemption arc and wins his 2nd Super Bowl ring.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you say he was going to be Super Bowl MVP, Brayden, before we start recording?
No.
Who? Okay, if in both worlds where the Chiefs and the 49ers win, who do you think is going to be Super Bowl MVP? Let's go out there. Okay, we obviously could say Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes because those are the easiest, most obvious choices. But if one of those guys were not the Super Bowl MVP for both teams, who would it be?
Damian Williams. Oh wait, he doesn't play for the Chiefs anymore. Never mind. Probably Pacheco for the Chiefs.
I'd agree.
And I'm pretty sure CMC's like 4-1 to win the Super Bowl MVP. So
really, that's cool though. I like that. Yeah, no, I think Pacheco's would be my answer for the Chiefs if they ended up winning, and I think I'm just gonna go with a fun one and say George Kittle. I don't know. Maybe Brock Purdy throws an interception and then Kittle gets one really good long pass touchdown or something. I don't know. Chris McCaffrey's an easy choice though too, and I think he would deserve it. I think him getting something if he doesn't win MVP would be really cool. I think that would almost be a good comp prize if he got Super Bowl MVP but he didn't get MVP. Because actually, when did those prizes get announced officially? Is that before the Super Bowl or after?
Like league MVP?
Yeah, like league MVP. Offensive player.
That's Thursday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's Thursday.
Cool. Too bad we won't be able to do a video on it. I guess I probably should mention that in this video too, because I think this will probably go up Thursday, Friday, something like that. Before Super Bowl. I will be actually gone, so a lot of the videos are going to be a little behind on like kind of the topics we covered. So like one of the videos we already did was about head coach or like hot takes, and one of them was about Bill Belichick's head coaching spot, and get the Commanders filled it literally the next day. So that's going to be some outdated stuff. I'll put some notices in too, but I'll be gone at the Super Bowl for a whole week. Kind of there to go enjoy myself and work a little bit, but they're gonna, there's plenty of videos and it's still gonna be regular uploads, but I think I should mention that somewhere if people bother to watch this. But I think I have no other final thoughts for this. I think we covered a lot in 15 minutes there. So without further ado, guys, hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe down below. StraightA Dawson and Brayden out.